Hello and welcome to On the Record, the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. I'm your host, Jerome Sawyer. As we near the 3-month mark since Hurricane Dorian, the process to recovery drags on. The price tag is now in the billions, and government has already indicated it will need to borrow hundreds of millions to restore and replace what has been lost and damaged. But for so many communities, that the recovery has not come soon enough. This week, we continue our series on those Cays and the smaller communities struggling to recover and find a place in the National Reconstruction effort. Then later, we visit one of the leading humanitarian agencies to see how they've managed to survive in this post-Dorian era. And still later, the inspiring story of a well-known Abaco business that's reopened despite the odds. You're watching On the Record. Our program continues right after this.
Bring in the Christmas season with the crew from Sappadilla Street as we celebrate our 10th show anniversary. That's right, Christmas on Sappadilla Street 5, St. John's College Auditorium, Saturday, December 7th at 8 p.m. and Sunday, December 8th at 5 p.m. Tickets, $20 adults and $10 children. Available at Sheffy's Deli and Grill, Rosetta Street, Lil Mustard Seed Healthy Cafe, Mount Royal Avenue, and Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street. Call 466-7996 or 812-5524. Come and join the celebration to laugh until you cry.
Maybe you have Rev Phone with its tons of awesome and free features. Or you're watching great content on Rev TV. Or maybe you have our blazing fast internet. So you already know how good it is to have one Rev service. Imagine if you had all three. With Trio, you get all of our services for $99. And you get entered into our $250,000 cashback Christmas. So the question is, why don't you have Trio? Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
So, that's the new tenant.
Yeah. She gave her heart to a hero.
May I have this dance?
But this Christmas, her only wish
A deployment doesn't just happen to a soldier. It happens to the whole family.
is for him to return home. Julie Benz.
I can't promise that you'll come home.
I can promise you I'll do my best. Because I want to come home to you.
Christmas Homecoming.
Only on our TV.
And welcome back. McLeanstown is the easternmost point of Grand Bahama. This community and other neighboring settlements were flattened by Dorian, having taken a direct hit. But the destruction doesn't stop there. If you hop a ferry and head further east, there is a small island known as Sweetings Cay. Up to now, we've only heard of the destruction in that tiny community. What we found on a recent trip there helped to give us even more context into just how far and wide the destruction goes. The McLeanstown dock, normally a busy spot where ferries from neighboring Cays drop off and pick up passengers daily, is just short of a ghost town these days. The passenger load is significantly smaller and there's no activity in the settlement itself, save some cleanup efforts. The majority of the people going back and forth are part of relief efforts or a handful of residents making the commute. As we began our journey to Sweetings Cay, we encountered a group known as the Muslims of Trinidad and Tobago, working along with Helping Hands USA on a relief mission. The organization, started in 2008 for humanitarian work, has made the Bahamas its latest stop, having done 25 international missions already.
We have been to Somalia, Kenya, Philippines. We have been to St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Antigua. Now we are here, Dominica, just last 2017. We have been to Pakistan and many other countries. So our main focus at our organization is humanitarian work, but we also do a lot of work locally in Trinidad and Tobago. And, wherever there are disasters, through the support of the public in Trinidad and Tobago, we find ourselves on the ground in the disaster areas and where it happens in the various countries.
And tell us about this boatload of relief supplies here and where they've come from and what you intend to do with them.
Well, actually, we ship like 120-foot and 140-foot container of supplies from Trinidad. It arrived only last weekend. We came up on Tuesday the 29th, and we had the containers cleared off the port that is in Nassau by Thursday. We immediately offloaded both containers at the mosque in Nassau, and we prepared 500 hampers, which we distributed to the hurricane victims that in the shelters in Nassau. And we also cooked, a couple thousand meals as well. So our mission in the Bahamas is really doing cooked food and doing hampers. And now, when we finish a couple days, we spend maybe 3 or 4 days, I think, in Nassau. We came to Grand Bahama only on Tuesday gone. And we had packed a 20-foot container in Nassau, which we brought to Grand Bahama on the mailboat. We offloaded it. We did 500 packages. We went out in the field in Grand Bahama yesterday at various homes, shared some hampers, and today we are going to Abaco. We probably have about 200 hampers here with us and some other things that were like hygiene kits and so on.
You all have obviously been in disaster zones before. This is the kind of work that you do. Is there anything different or unique about this disaster or what you have seen or faced into since you have been here?
Well, to answer your questions, not really. It might be in a different form. For example, in Haiti, it was an earthquake. And of course, it was terrible. And you find that the customs of the people are different. So if I live in Haiti or even Dominica, and coming here, we see some differences, but I must say that we are very lucky to find people who are already in the work. And just to mention to you that our support financially and the groceries and the food stuff that we have bought, we represent the Muslim community of Trinidad and Tobago. We are about 6% of the population of Trinidad and Tobago, about 66,000 Muslims. We have their support very much because of the fact that we report back to them wherever we go. So everywhere you go, you find some challenges. Challenges might be different. At the end of the day, we know that we're going to meet challenges. Our objective is very clear, to meet and assist these people as far as practical. When we go all out, we try to overcome our challenges. We thank very much. We must say thanks very much to the people of Nassau, also Bahamas here, and all of you people who at least come to our assistance and try to make it easy for us. The people with the boat here, they are assisting us to a certain extent because we know the cost is very much to do it, but every little bit of assistance we get make it easy for us.
Sweeting's Quay is only accessible by boat. The nearest staging point is the dock at McLean's Town, which is where we began our trek. But the seabed is now littered with dozens of cars, vehicles tossed into the sea by the storm. For the small boat captains who make a living ferrying passengers back and forth, the journey can be dangerous, with debris littering the shoreline.
Any idea how many cars out here?
At least about 30 cars.
At least about 30?
Yeah, you only got down there, but the school down there.
Yeah.
Get a load of boats and cars down there.
Wow. And so you just have to know where they are.
Yeah. You notice there's something sticking there in the water right there, right?
Right, yeah. So that's a vehicle over there.
Yeah.
Did any of them show up on this at all? Anything show up on that?
Only the name and the land. The yellow is written by the land.
Right. So this doesn't show anything in the water?
No, only on the land.
You sailing really by knowledge?
Yeah, I've been doing it for I was 9 years old.
Okay. But I mean, since the hurricane now, since the cars are out here now, you got a different route.
Yeah. No, I take the same route.
Same route. Okay.
The same route, but just that some part of the road, you got to remember that safety is in the water.
Right, right.
If you get out in the back there, you get some big trees, some palm, coconut, not palm, pine trees, and you get plenty of other things out there in the water. And look out for.
Think they'll ever move them?
I wishing for them too. I wish they could have been done more by now. But in the near future, plenty of people can get hurt if they don't make the motor water. And then you look at it right now, the fish. You might head up out and play some fish and things come up in this bed or them to be in the water.
From eating around the
Eating around the
vehicles.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a hazard.
Yeah, that's a hazard.
In good weather, it's a short trip from the dock to Sweetings Cay. On approach, the view from the shoreline tells us just how bad it is, yet the worst is still to come. So many homes, businesses on this tiny quay are flattened, many ripped from the foundation and lost at sea, while others are reduced to rubble. What used to be a population of about 120 is now around 20, depending on the day. We are told there are only about 4 to 5 houses here that are inhabitable. The rest are gone, uninhabitable, or made into makeshift shelters as a temporary covering from the elements. On the dock, we're welcomed by some residents eager to show us what's left of this once thriving fishing town. One resident later told me, "This was a town where we made money from fishing. Everyone here lived well." Not anymore. Life has come to a halt. As we set out on foot on the main road on the small quay, the sounds of a battery-operated radio greets us. It's been 2 months since the hurricane, and anything here with power is being operated by battery or tied to a generator.
Everybody in Mangabush's family, they got to call everybody auntie and uncle.
So your house on the little hill there?
No, my house, right? No, that ain't my house. That's my friend's house, Alma. I live right on the side.
It's here we find Leonard Fista. The radio keeps his company as he works alone to complete some basic repairs. A lifelong resident of Sweetings Cay, he rode out the storm in his house. He recalls how fighting against the rising floods and wind became a struggle for survival.
My experience of the storm was terrible. During the storm, I was over here in this building over here. And when it first started, I lost my roof in the back here. Then we considered to get out. By the time we get out there, we had about 2 to 3 foot of water, which we didn't see in the house at the time. And we started making it over by the building over there. Getting over there, we had about 4 feet in the building. So we just started making the decision, what should we do? And all of a sudden, it just fall off flat ground. So I say, hey, let me go and retrieve the boat. We get the boat, bail out all the water, going back into the building in the same water, but we pull the rope underneath the door. And the weather come back down, it's like, we can't stay in the building. We gotta get out the building.
This time you were still in the boat?
No, I was in the building.
Okay.
So let me get in the boat. Like they were actually getting the boat right there and then, but we tried to get a door open. We couldn't get the door open like that. So after talking to the 4 men who was with me, you know, I tell them we can die in this building. Try your best to get this door open, you know. Everybody must have put out the last bit of strength. The door cracked, and the water blew the door right off the hinges, you know. Like coming out that door there, when I opened the door, the water's up to the bell cord, so we still couldn't come out, you know. So we got to wait till the water drop a little bit, then squeeze up over the door jamb to get in the boat. Try laying the boat down as much as you could get it down. Then we get in, then we walk around the building. Been there till like 3 o'clock. It started like 8 o'clock. So when the water started dropping, it started getting more tense. So I got to yank the batten off the window, try to squeeze back into the building, you know. So it was terrible.
So you literally had to go from the outside back into the same building you were afraid of in the first place?
Yeah.
And then what? Did you remain in there for the duration?
Yeah, I remained in there.
What was it like after the storm passed? How hard was it having to survive in those hours and days after the storm?
Well, it was hard. The food which you had was gone. The water was gone. 5 days. Couldn't find no food like that. No water, So it was kind of hard now. Yeah.
And you're back here working. You are planning to rebuild? You planning to return? You staying here?
Well, I was in the hurricane. I ain't moved yet. So, yeah, I intend to rebuild. Yeah.
Have you been getting a lot of outside help? People coming in to assist?
Yeah, we had some outside help. It was all right. At least to bring some supplies and water, food. Yeah.
What would you say are some of the things you need the most in order to, just get back on your feet and get life back to where, at least partially where it was?
Right now, in order to build a house, you need materials. I had a couple of funds that they going in the hurricane. I wasn't expecting for it to happen, but it happened. So it led me to a point. So once I get certain things, yes.
Further along on our journey, we encountered these Sweetings Key residents in the midst of their own despair. With no home and only a tent as a shelter, they were busy trying to restore those ever so small pieces of their lives.
This was your house? Oh, okay. Your house is in the back.
This is my house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
House in the back.
Oh, wow. Your house is gone too?
House in the back gone.
Wow. So you're just trying to now. You stay in the tent here or the tent over there? Okay. All right. Okay. So why you decided to stay and not leave?
Huh?
How come you decided to stay and not leave?
We leave and come back because this is a fishing village. He's in one to turn up home just like that.
Okay. So you came back to try and get your life back together?
Yeah, see, nothing like home.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. You're right about that. But it can't be easy, eh?
No. Take time. Coming back.
All right. Well, good luck to you, eh?
Yes.
Take care. God bless.
Next, we visit the famous Turtle Pond, a favorite with Sweetings Key residents and visitors here. These days, the benches used for picnics are all but blown away. They're only remnants of a once popular weekend picnic spot and turtle observatory. Luckily, the turtles, the main attraction, have survived, but no one comes here to see them anymore. We passed Turtle Pond on the way to check the conditions of the island's water supply. There is evidence that work is taking place to restore the supply, but up to the day we visited, it still had not yet been restored. We understood the water supplies were expected up soon. No such luck, though, for electricity. Just about every pole on the island is down. And with such a small population, residents say they doubt Grand Bahama Power will be restoring their supplies anytime soon, if at all. Justifying millions for such a small population is going to be a tough sell. Back on the main road, we come to Russell's Seaside Club. I'm told it was a favorite spot on the island. All that remains now is the foundation and sign.
So this was a club?
This was a club, restaurant and bar.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's the slate from the pool table.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's in there. The thing was, we can't lift that.
This is your mother's home? Was anyone in here?
No, no one was there. She went free board. I can tell you how powerful Dorian was.
And the further we go, the more stories of survival.
You left Sunday
morning.
in this.
And just to take some folks to McLean Town, elderly people. And after the hurricane over, man is looking for it. This way she was.
You took people, but you came back.
I came back in the boat. That's the next one there too. One behind it. This is a small one, 18-foot one. What happened? I'm waiting on the equipment to come now, so we could cut these up, so we could flip it over to see what I could save over it.
And you literally can't move anything
No,
because you just don't have the equipment.
We don't have the equipment to move nothing with, to move it with. My girls.
And when we come back,
we was in the front room there first. After that, after that break, we ran from that. We come down in here. He was right in this corner here. After all the plywood there was keep popping. This week was right here. We had the bedroom set was there. After that, the bedroom set that gone. But a bureau was there. We had the bureau, my mother-in-law, and yeah, my daughter and the mother-in-law was there. Me and my wife was there, and the two grandchildren. We had a 5-star bureau drawer at the chest. That's what we had. They was on top. And the water beat on my seat. He was right in the corner here. And from Sunday night until Monday evening, the water beat on us.
From Sunday night to Monday evening, you all stayed here.
We couldn't move. We couldn't move.
So she said, man, let's go outside. I said, no. So after she gets so scared, I said, well, anyway, let's go outside. Just to show her. We come outside, they say, start up on the highest part of the house in the back there, on the Tingham, right? We standing there for a while. I saw the water came up so far. I wait. So she said, get the ladder to go on the roof. I come on the side. I step back inside. I say, you know what? God on our side. I say, y'all believe in God? They say, yes. I say, well, God keep us safe. Let's go back to the house.
welcome to On the Record. Looking for more On the Record? If you miss our Thursday showing at 8 p.m., join us for the re-airing on Friday mornings at 10, and then again each Sunday night at 8:30. Or go to our YouTube channel and catch up on all of our past episodes. And then like our Facebook and Instagram pages for a preview of upcoming shows and get a chance to ask your questions. Just look for On the Record.
You're being deployed.
Yes, ma'am.
Does Betsy know you're leaving? It's better to break it off now before you get hurt.
Like the way you were hurt?
And I don't want to spend the rest of my life this way.
You gotta start by taking a chance.
You're just gonna sweep me off my feet.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Only on our TV.
Why should you get Trio from Rev this Christmas? Cue the music. In addition to TV and phone, you get more internet, like 75 megabits per second, and a free Wi-Fi router that you can access up to 2 phone lines on. And we're giving you a backup battery, in case you know. And if you get Trio now, you get entered automatically into our $250,000 cashback Christmas draw. That's 250 customers with a chance at $250,000. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
This portion of On the Record brought to you by Generali, your employee benefit solutions provider.
This is On the Record. This segment is brought to you by Generali. I'm your host, Jerome Sawyer. This week, we continue our series on those small keys affected by Hurricane Dorian. We continue now with our journey into Sweetings Key. Tyrone Duncombe is one of few who stayed behind on Sweetings Key. He now admits he underestimated the storm. He recalls how he had to protect his family and eventually provide shelter to neighbors in distress.
It was horrible. It's like a bad dream. Still waiting to wake up from it. But wasn't anticipating the weather would have been the way it was. That's why I stayed home with my family. And it was bad. It was bad. The worst I ever see, you know. The wind came down, the water rise in the house. But we never left. My house never really left me. So I stayed inside with the family, and we were out in there until the water started to go back down.
You were able to shelter some other people who needed help as
my,
well?
my neighbors came over, and we spent the minute of the hurricane right inside my front room until the weather calmed down,
At one point, I understand you had some fish.
Yeah, we had fishes swimming around in the front room because the water came up this high in the house. We had fishes in the front room, little small fishes swimming around, and until the water started to go back down. It was like a bad dream, still waiting to wake up from it.
At any point, did you think you would not make it out alive?
No, I didn't have no fear in my heart about making it alive because I as a person have a lot of God inside of me. I prayed. When I finished praying to my God, all of my fear was gone. And I say, right? I told my family, my wife got afraid. The kids, the youngest one, he told me, say he was scared. So after the water started to rise up in the house, she told me, say, man, so what are we going to do? I say, boy, we got to stay inside the house and see how high the water going to get. So she said, man, let's go outside. I said, no. So after she gets so scared, I said, well, anyway, let's go outside. Just to show her. We come outside, they say, stand up on the highest part of the house in the back there, on the thing, right? We stand there for a while. I saw the water came up so far. I wait. So she said, get the ladder to go on the roof. I come around the side, I come back aside. They say, you know what? God on our side. I say, y'all believe in God? They say, yes. I say, anyway, God can keep us safe. Let's go back in the house. And we going back in the house. I shut the door. We stayed in the middle part of the house. And then when our neighbors came over, we all sit in the front room until it was safe to come outside.
What was it like in the days after the storm? Once the weather cleared and you came out and you realized the whole key was devastated, what was it like?
It was like a bad dream. Never thought it happened, Because during in the house that night, a lot of things was going on, but I never thought we would see the key look like this after that, It's the worst we ever had it in my lifetime.
What's needed now? What are the things you all need to just to be able to live?
Right now, we as fishermen, we lost all our boats. We need boats to get back so we could get back on the water fishing. That'll help us to build our places back along with other help, But we need our own thing back. So once we get our boats and fishing back, we could make money and we could go ahead and build our places. You know what I'm saying? We need a lot of help with building. You see all the houses gone. Everybody need stuff to get their stuff back together. That's the main thing.
Why didn't you evacuate when people were saying evacuate, come off the key, go to Grand Bahama, go to Freeport?
Yes. I thought about it, but I said, like I said, I spent all the hurricanes in my house. Never had a problem. I maybe had a shingle come off, not a plywood, nothing. You know what I'm saying? For all the hurricanes. Jane and Francis, Matthew. Matthew was a Category 5. When Matthew passed, I was standing right in the road right here. Still a hurricane pass. You know what I'm saying? But this one was the worst. I don't think it was no Category 5. Because, 5 could do that.
Nowadays, Duncan passes the time in a tent living room set up on his property. He says he escapes to this space as a means of relaxation as he awaits the next step.
All right, sir. God for life, man.
Thank you for talking to us. All the best to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Our guide throughout the Sweetings Key journey is Gladstone Russell, the island's chief counselor. We eventually make our way to his home, where he recalls the horrors of the hurricane and even now the daily struggles of life in a post-Dorian world.
It was a horrible, horrible, horrible experience, which one I'll never go through again in life.
Why did you decide to stay as opposed to evacuating, even yourself having evacuated some people?
Being the chief counselor, I believe I should always be on the key. So that's why I always stay on the key during any hurricane, me and my family. So next hurricane come, God spare life, Category 2, we'll be out.
It was that traumatic for you?
Yes, sir.
Were there times when you got out of here and were trying to find shelter, you thought that you wouldn't make it?
Yeah. Monday night, we apparently we almost did give up, but the faith we have, God is real. So we put all our trust in him, and he said he won't fail us. But when it got worse, what we did, we ran to my next door neighbor, and that's where we bad the rest of the hurricane out by him, Tyrone Duncombe.
I want to talk about the aftermath. Now, the storm is cleared. Everybody on the Key survived, fortunately. But what were those first few days like for you and the people who stayed here?
Oh, the first few days was horrible. No water, no food. Everything ran out. We had to get water from the bladder, the water steps in the back there. That wasn't much. It was like yellow, but we had to strain it to drink. It wasn't nice.
And where did the supplies start coming from when they arrived?
The supplies started coming from one chopper came over and they saw us. And we told them that everybody is accounted for. He said we must just be patient, help us on the way. When we look, the next day, there was chopper after choppers, just bringing supplies for us.
And what happened even after that? Once you were able to get food, etc., what then happened on the Key with the cleanup, etc.?
The cleanup is, as you can see, it's not the way we like for it to be. We need some equipment in. What the folks did, every Saturday now we is come up and we clean. But I have some friends from foreign Conway of Hope. We try to get some equipment in as soon as possible. But I can be in Freeport tomorrow to make arrangement with the guy who owned the batch so we could get the equipment here to start the cleaning up.
And out of the number of people who lived here, how many have returned, and are people returning or just coming to clean up and leave?
They just come in to clean up and leave. Maybe spend like a day, 2 days, then head back. That's what me and my wife is doing. We're doing the cleanup. Soon we finish, then we'll go back, spend another 2 days, then come back, spend another week.
The government has advised some of you all to consider moving to the mainland. Why will you not consider that?
No. There's no place like home. We cannot go to McLeanstown. That was a suggestion that the DPM mentioned, but the resident didn't fall for that.
When you consider all the other areas on the mainland, in Grand Bahama, in Abaco, that have larger populations, that need just what you need, do you think that's going to impact their ability to be able to provide you basic things like electricity, water, proper cleanup, even supplies to help you rebuild?
That's why you see, as we speak now, I dealing with these foreign guys to get the equipment in here so we could do the cleanup. Now, the rebuilding process, it might take a long time because with friends, they will help. Now, with the electricity, I doubt it for another year, maybe next 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Before you get electricity?
Yeah, before we have power on the Key. But we decide we'll go with generators for now. But I would like for the folks here to reconsider. Let's form a corp and do a corp on the Key so we can have our own power and our own water.
So you think it's smart for you all to get together and provide those yourselves?
Yeah, I think it's more suitable now is because it's been 2 months plus. And there's nothing on the ground moving as yet.
Interesting. Despite the warnings to come off the Key, you said about 30 people stayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you still think that was a wise idea?
Now it's not a wise idea. But before time, like we always do, we always ride any hurricane, we stay here. We take the elderly and disabled, we take them to the mainland so they could get to the shelter. We have the guys, them stay here so we could notice the Key. But after Hurricane Dorian, I don't think that's going to happen again. I think everybody's going to leave.
I notice the school is demolished just about as well. Where the children, what's happened to them, and do you think that school will ever be rebuilt and children will be able to go to school again on the Key?
I don't think the school got to be rebuilt. Not the condition it in and the way things is now. And the school, the kids, I don't think the kids will come back into school again. It'll be years upon years before that happens.
So what's going to happen to the future of the Key? If the children don't come back, they are the future. They are the ones who will carry on life on the Key. What's going to happen if kids don't come back?
That's why I say we got to form a corporate and see what we could wake out. Because the way it stands now, hope is limited.
Much like the name suggests, the group Convoy of Hope has brought a spark of optimism to this hurricane-ravaged community. The schoolhouse, which had an enrollment of about 15 students, was all but wiped out. While a physical building remains, there is little left to allow for any kind of learning. This and the nearby administrator's office is where the guys from Convoy of Hope have set up as a base of operation.
We're a faith-based nonprofit based out of Springfield, Missouri in the United States, and we're in our 25th year of providing humanitarian aid and different support, different types of support for people in difficult situations. So a large part of what we do is disaster response, both in the United States and internationally. And of course, Dorian was what I would call it a historic hurricane, and obviously there's a lot of need all over. And we were hearing reports of a place that was needing a lot of help and maybe not having gotten as much as they needed right off the bat. So, through some investigation, we found out about Sweeting's Key, and so we've come here to set up and provide help.
And tell me a little bit about what you intend to do. I mean, you've set up a camp here,
Yes, sir.
so you're based here, but tell us about some of the work you anticipate you'll be able to do here.
Yeah, we plan on helping the locals here on the island with some debris cleanup, going through their homes, if there's anything they need taken out, we can do that, and then getting into actually removing the debris, the stuff that needs to go. We're hoping to get some heavy equipment, so we'll see where that leads us, but just meeting the needs of the people where they're at right now.
Having been in disaster zones before and dealing with these kinds of things, is there anything unique to what you're finding here, or is this atypical of what you would find in disaster spots?
The locals are very upbeat, I think, and positive. I haven't been to the Bahamas before, so that I think is a very good characteristic that you don't always find everywhere. But like a lot of places, they're making the best of a very difficult situation. So,
and we look particularly at this complex. You're just trying to bring normalize this to make this a distribution center, or what do you intend to do in what used to be the school?
Right. Yeah, we are going to be using the structures for a bit of a warehouse for some of our supplies that need to do our job, but also distribute some supplies to the people as well. We're just getting going, so this, we anticipate this being a long process, though.
We watch the water there. We watch the water there. See this knob here? The water used to come over here, bust and come over here.
So it was pouring through it.
Pouring through here. But I said that was milk white. I never seen no water like that yet.
Back on the mainland, we drive through McLean's Town and then into Pelican Point. There are signs of progress. A lot of debris is being cleared away, yet the rebuilding hasn't begun in earnest. The few people we see are still just cleaning up, far removed from the busy life of Freeport They carry on without the luxuries of electricity and water, enjoyed by so many on the other side of this vast landscape. And when we come back,
however long we stay here in Nassau in this location, as Abaco progress, as we speak right now, I'm still looking for property structure in Marsh Harbor. My real estate agent is still working on that. So whenever we found that location and ready to rebuild in Marsh Harbor, that is our step right now.
So we were able to offer the psychosocial support from day one, and that continues, where we are looking at making it a permanent part of the Red Cross here on the ground and working in that area. In terms of social services, we have been providing items for the shelters, we're providing blankets and necessary items.
I have a tight group of friends, and every year we throw ourselves a party. This year's shaping up to be big.
Christmas is on.
But we don't have time. Or is it?
You got this, girl.
And when the going gets tough,
You just gotta reef it up.
Not that bad.
Brooke Nevin,
I like to outdo myself.
Michael Cassidy,
Lead the way, Christmas expert.
jingle around the clock.
Only on our TV.
hello and welcome to On the Record, a debate-style television talk show where Bahamians will find the balanced, true, and open debate they've been looking for.
And the icon goes to On the Record.
On the Record was born out of a desire to do something different. What we do every day helps our country, it helps our society, it helps to shape the views and opinions.
Listen, what is more dangerous than
Gentlemen,
corruption?
we've got to move
Is
very
the
quickly.
illusion
Let's
of
wrap up.
integrity.
It's all On the Record. I'm your host, Jerome Sawyer. Our discussion begins on the other side of this break. Whether in Sweetings, Green Turtle, or Guana Key, whether it's downtown Marsh Harbor, Treasure Key, East End, or High Rock, the Bahamas Red Cross has been trying to reach as many people in need regardless of where they are. In this portion of our show, we revisit the Bahamas Red Cross, hoping to understand who the aid givers are and who they're trying to reach, who are in greatest need. For Red Cross Director General Caroline Turnquest, the past 2.5 months have been the hardest in her tenure with the humanitarian organization. From the moment Hurricane Dorian hit, she and her team and the countless volunteers have been at full steam. While disasters are what they do, Dorian has stretched the organization to the limits. Fortunately, they have been able to respond every day since.
We have been on the ground since day one, of course, and we have this operation has caused us to expand our services. We have gone from just being a relief of food, water, and non-perishables, etc., to anything from psychosocial support to protection of gender identity. We are looking now at case management in terms of handling persons instead of them just coming in for assistance. We now are looking at, over a period of time, ensuring that their well-being is met.
Added to the humanitarian relief is an expanded role for the Red Cross. It's so much more than just physical and monetary help.
They may come in and they may say that they may need a food voucher, but we look beyond that. They may need to speak with someone about their mental well-being. They may need some housing relief, and so we've expanded. This hurricane has really caused us to step step up our game, and we're grateful in that sense because the International Federation of Red Cross is here with us. We have a team, what we call the Emergency Response Unit, that are put together from persons, expertise all around the world that are here working with us. We have some 60 plus persons on the ground assisting us here in New Providence, in Grand Bahama, and in Abaco. The new ministry we have not been able to tap into as yet because of us being busy. Not that we were not available or they were not available, but we always had a very great relationship with the Department of Social Services as well as the Ministry of Health. And so the Ministry of Health has been seconding nurses to assist us, those with expertise in that area. And so we were able to offer the psychosocial support from day one. And that continues, where we are looking at making it a permanent part of the Red Cross here on the ground and working in that area. So the great partnership is intact.
The Red Cross is funded through donations. Their annual fundraisers help to run day-to-day operations and whatever disasters may land our way. But Dorian has more than quadrupled the demands.
The outpouring of donations has been very, very good, not only locally but internationally. And so we have the funding to do it, and we're grateful because what we do is we keep separate the funds that comes in for a disaster from our daily operational expenses. And so yes, you'll still see us doing fundraisers for the ball, for the fair, etc. That's to take care of our expenses in terms of our utilities, in terms of keeping the door open, in terms of funding the Meals on Wheels program and the CPR program. However, the funds received for Hurricane Dorian will go specifically to the helping of those individuals. Our volunteer base has expanded. We have what we call spontaneous volunteers, but out of the spontaneous volunteers, we found quite a number of them that are here for the long run. And so, fortunately, ever since we started, we did not have to cease any of our programs. And we are rolling day to day, and exactly what happens normally, that will continue. So we're going to continue. We're going to do the food parcels into the family islands, and we're going to, do the Thanksgiving lunch for our Meals on Wheels persons, and we're going to partner with other organizations to make sure that we do not stop.
Yet there is always a need for more.
Right now, because we're going to be focusing on the actual rebuilding of their properties, we would need help within cash, but which will be better if you were to give a donation of building materials, something to go toward those building materials, whether you want to, sponsor them in terms of getting building materials, their windows, etc., to repair the roofs. And right now we're helping them with temporary shelter, some of those persons that are living with people, that we're trying to help them to stay dignified and get a small place, and we'll assist them like with the first month rent or something like that. We have lots of canned goods, we have water, and we've been purchasing those items. So people need to, get help in addition to those things.
Our story starts deep in the valleys of Vermont, in the town called Evergreen.
Dear Santa, this year I just want Christmas like it used to be. We can take every tradition that this town has ever had, and we can show what Evergreen is really made of.
This is a lot of work.
It's a Christmas gift for the entire town.
For the first time in a while, I got back a piece of what Christmas used to be.
Only on our TV.
Matt, where in the world is Matt Lauer? Where in the world is Ellison Greenslade? And so they about the low value of cottage in Atlanta. So we can talk about it.
More on the record tonight, the government's purchase of the Grand Lupine is a hot subject in the news. We're going to...
From TV to phone to fast internet, how can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
So, that's the new tenant. Yeah. She gave her heart to a hero.
May I have this dance?
But this Christmas, her only wish,
A deployment doesn't just happen to a soldier. It happens to the whole family.
is for him to return home. Julie Benz.
I can't promise that you'll come home.
I can promise you I'll do my best. Because I want to come home to you.
Christmas Homecoming.
Only on our TV.
And finally in our show tonight, every week we spend a lot of time focused on the recovery in the affected areas. But just recently, I read a story of an Abaco casualty that's managed to resurface here in Nassau. The tragedy of the many lives lost in Abaco will be forever etched in the history of our country. The beautiful landscape of Marsh Harbour, surrounding areas and the Cays is no more. We can only hope that those scenic places return in some form or the other. And then there are the restaurants, hotels, and attractions we came to know and love. Among the iconic locations wiped out was a famous restaurant in the harbour in downtown Marsh Harbour known as Mango's. Renowned for its foods, drinks, and ambience, only memories now remain. And for employees like Kayla Sims, it also meant she had no more means of income. The waitress, like so many other co-workers, was out of a home and now a job. That is, until the restaurant owners decided to reopen in Nassau.
As you all know that Abaco and Grand Bahama is a total disaster. It wasn't what we expected, but it happened. I don't really like talking about it, but yeah, it's really bad. So we had no other choice but to evacuate and move here. So that's where I am now.
With no homes, restaurant, or income, Mango's co-owners Clement Clark and Kenya Agaro made a decision to relocate the iconic restaurant from Abaco to a well-known spot here in New Providence. They restarted operations at the Marley Resort on West Bay Street, hiring some of the Abaco staff like Sims, who have had to relocate as well.
When Dorian struck, Dorian came with a force that practically wiped out every restaurant on that strip there at Marsh Harbour, which including our own Mango Seaside Restaurant and Bar, which was totally demolished. Like basically only the foundation actually left.
The duo were undaunted in their determination to reopen, despite not finding a place at first.
It was some challenges, as every business, every business has its challenges, and we came into some challenges reopening, but we stood the test, just like how we stood the test with Dorian. We stood the test in this pursuing our goal and our dream, which is Mango Seaside Restaurant and Bar, because we both are chefs and cooking is our passion. We spend one whole day from 12 midday to 12 midnight just driving around trying to find a location. So that's how desperate we are and passionate we are into what we do.
While many of the old Mango customers will be thrilled to know they've reopened in a new spot and the new patrons get to experience the great food and hospitality, for these Abaconians, it's also an opportunity to help their employees facing their own post-storm battles.
We have about 5 that we had from Marsh Harbour, Mango's in Marsh Harbour, and we kept some of the Mali staff. We kept about 5 of them as well. So we're basically more like a family-bound restaurant.
Sims, like many of her co-workers, is grateful for the chance to start over.
Well, of course, I was excited. I still am. But, Abaco is my home. But I'm here now at Mangoes, and I'm really excited and happy that I get to work with my co-workers and my family again. So that's a really good thing, and I'm grateful for. So it's just exciting for me to be actually working again.
Yet having an opportunity to earn an income, again, is just one step on the road to recovery. Sim still grapples with the memories of those horrible days in September in Abaco.
Well, I'm taking it one day at a time. You know, sometimes I might get emotional some days, but getting there. Sometimes I'll just go straight out to the beach and just take a breather.
That's going to do it for tonight's program. Special thanks to my production and technical staff. Thank you so much for watching as well. We're going to see you next time right here